Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into why a simple walk in the park might just be one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain. Seriously, there's some fascinating science that shows how getting outside can literally change the way your mind works. So yeah, let's get into it.
And let's kick things off with this thought from E.M. Forster. It just perfectly captures the problem so many of us face, right? We're surrounded by all this natural beauty, but we often feel totally cut off from it.
So, have you ever had that feeling of just complete mental burnout, that digital overload where your brain just feels fried? If you have, you are for sure not alone. It's kind of become the signature feeling of living in the 21st century.
Our brains are basically working overtime, all the time. Think about it. We're living in this world of nonstop notifications, emails, deadlines, all of it fighting for a piece of our focus.
You can think of your attention like your phone's battery. Every single task you do, every email you fire off, every alert you check, it just drains a little bit of that charge. It's no wonder that by the end of the day, most of us feel completely depleted. But what if I told you there was a simple, science-backed way to recharge that mental battery? Well, it turns out the solution might be a lot closer than you think. In fact, it's probably right outside your window. And we're not talking about just one specific thing here. Nature therapy is this big umbrella term. It covers everything from a really intense hike to the Japanese practice of forest bathing, or, even just having a little plant on your desk.
Okay, so let's get into the why. Because the science behind why nature is so good for us is honestly pretty cool. It really all comes down to something called attention restoration theory, or ART. This theory was developed by researchers Stephen and Rachel Kaplan, and it's absolutely key to understanding how nature gives our overworked brains a much-needed break. So, ART starts by making this really important distinction. First, you have directed attention. That's the hard work. It's the focus you need for a spreadsheet or to study for a test. It takes effort and it gets tired fast. But then you have involuntary attention, which is totally effortless. It's that feeling you get when you're just captivated by a sunset or the sound of the ocean. Now this is where it gets really interesting. We can break that effortless attention down even more. Hard fascination, like watching a big game or playing a video game, still demands all your focus. It can actually be pretty draining. But soft fascination, that's the good stuff. That's watching clouds drift by or listening to leaves rustle. It captures your attention gently and it lets your mind wander and rest. That is the restorative sweet spot. So, according to the theory, for a place to be truly restorative, it needs these 4 things. First, being away. That feeling of escaping your daily routine. Second is extent, where you feel like you're in a whole different world. Third is compatibility, meaning the place just fits what you need, like a quiet spot to think. And last but not least, fascination, that gentle, effortless pull on your attention we were just talking about.
And here's the crucial part. This isn't just some vague, feel-good thing. Spending time in nature creates real, measurable physiological changes in both our minds and our bodies. And the research actually gives us a concrete goal to shoot for. Studies have found that spending at least 2 hours, 120 minutes, a week in nature is linked to significantly better health and well-being. It's a specific target, and it's totally achievable. So, what's actually happening inside your body? Well, when you're out in nature, it triggers this amazing relaxation response. Your levels of the stress hormone cortisol drop, your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate slows. It literally calms your whole system down while boosting your mood. You know that little voice in your head? The one that gets stuck on these rigid all-or-nothing thoughts? That's a super common type of cognitive distortion, and it can cause a whole lot of stress. Well, a mindful walk in nature acts like a pattern interrupt for that kind of thinking. By just focusing on the sights and the sounds and smells around you, you break out of that rigid thought loop. It pulls your focus outward and helps you get a much healthier, more flexible perspective on things. Okay, so the big question is, how do we make this a part of our lives? The great news is you really don't need to plan a big trip to a national park to get these benefits. You can weave nature into your life no matter where you are.
Take something like forest bathing or Shinrin-yoku from Japan. It's not about exercise or covering a certain distance. It's simply about being present with the trees, unplugging from your phone and just soaking in the whole forest atmosphere.
And hey, even if you're in the middle of a city,
Something like working in a community garden can be incredibly therapeutic. It connects you to the natural world, plus you get that sense of accomplishment and connection with other people.
And for those days when you're really just stuck inside, you can totally bring the good vibes of nature to you. Adding some houseplants, playing nature sounds like rain or birdsong, using essential oils with woodsy scents, even watching a high-quality nature documentary can make a real difference.
To start wrapping it up, I think the architect Frank Lloyd Wright just said it perfectly. Nature is this constant, reliable source of well-being. It's always there for us if we just choose to pay attention to it.
And that right there is the real takeaway. This is not about one epic, life-changing hike. It's about making nature a regular, consistent part of your routine. It's those small, regular doses that really build a calmer, more focused, and more resilient mind over time.
So as we close out this explainer, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Maybe it's just a 5-minute walk in a nearby park, or buying one plant for your desk, or just opening the window to listen. What's one small step you're going to take?